It is insane what's going on the streets. Literally tents after tents after tents, and it is sad to see so many empty buildings sitting, just empty buildings sitting. So much food, for an example, being thrown away by 7-Eleven alone just because it was on the shelf for a day and a half. And it's not even expired or anything, but I'm not saying anything negative. They're just
Mm,
running a business to have fresh everything, fresh products. I get it, but the
mm,
product is not expired. That's being destroyed. It can totally be redirected towards homeless shelters, and there are many buildings that are sitting empty. They can be turned into homeless shelters, and government has enough funds based on the taxes they collect from us to actually hire individuals so they can work for the nonprofit and make everything happen. What they started doing over here by the freeways, they started making literally 10 feet by 10 feet. 10 feet is about
3 meters.
not even 3 meters wide and about 2.5 4 meters long, cubicles, and they call it homes for homeless people instead of
I've
sleeping on
seen
the
that.
street or in a. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what they're making. It's just ridiculous how much commercial properties are out there available sitting empty, but they're just building something from scratch. I feel like it's counterintuitive. David
Mhm.
has a follow up question. Do you guys think a universal income is answer to increased homelessness? Sarah, would you like to take the answer or do you want me to take it first?
Um,
Either way.
yeah, I don't mind. So a universal income, do you mean by that something like a government income? If that's what you mean, in Australia
I feel like, let's say, something like Canada.
right, so we have unemployment benefits here that anybody who isn't working can access. There are some criteria around that where unemployed people do need to apply for a certain number of jobs over a period, and they have to report into our government agency that manages that. Um, I'm not actually sure whether homeless people access it. They should be able to, and we do also have disability pensions and funding like that. What I think we need to do, as opposed to throwing money at it that way, is actually provide better solutions that get to the root of why people are homeless. Um, for example, obviously mental health is a huge issue, drugs are a huge issue, and I know people like the Salvation Army and a lot of the other organisations are working very hard with people in that situation. Homelessness on the scale where we're talking about domestic violence and job loss and things like that, where we started the conversation, definitely think there needs to be done more in relation to providing short term accommodation options where people have the opportunity of getting back on their feet. And in the city of Melbourne, a couple of years ago, they started building on old railway land, so Commonwealth government land that would set aside for the railways that's disused. They started building a series of tiny homes, similar to what you're talking about, Gore, in relation to those cubicle type things, except that they were self contained. And the idea was that they were going to be used for homeless people, for an opportunity for them to regain their self esteem, get back on their feet, and be able to get back into the community once they had, resettled. So yeah, I'm in mixed minds as to whether I think it's an income thing or a solution based thing.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And I can see the reasoning behind it.